Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. Wow. Former Anthony Joshua foe Dillian Whyte says he wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Joshua loses to Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Shout out to Sky Sports, link in the description. You will see the article on the screen. The headliner says Joshua versus Miller. Dillian Whyte won't be shocked if Anthony Joshua loses to Jarrell Miller. You know, and they got a picture of him. It says Dillian Whyte will not be shocked if Anthony Joshua suffers an upset defeat to Jarrell Miller, but would still want to settle personal feud with his British rival. It says Joshua vowed to dismantle the outspoken Brooklyn man, but Dillian Whyte has spotted signs of vulnerability in the champion, insisting that Big Baby Miller could rip away the WBA Super, IBF, and WBO titles. He says, and I quote, "I wouldn't be surprised if he does beat Joshua," Whyte exclusively told Sky Sports. "Joshua has gotten very gun shy, and if Miller can absorb his punishment early and bring it to him late in the fight, then I wouldn't be surprised if Miller does beat him." Wow. As you guys can see right there. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Miller beats him. If AJ loses, I'll still fight him because it's personal with me and him. It's not about the titles. If he loses his next 10 fights, I'll still fight him. I just won't be taken for a mug, that's all. It says Whyte has turned his attention to Dominic Breazeale, with the winner set to become mandatory for Deontay Wilder. He says, "That is what we want. I've had 10 or more WBC title fights, been the WBC #1 ranked fighter for 18 months, 2 years or something, defending the position, won every WBC belt I was eligible to win, apart from the world title, so it's about time. Not even the champions have taken the route I've taken." A rematch between Wilder and Fury is expected to be finalized next week, and Whyte hopes to receive his WBC title shot before the end of 2019. "It's just good to be in the position to face the winner of Wilder or Fury, whoever wins," he said. "I'm one of the top 4 in the world, and it's about time I get what I deserve and what I've worked hard for. If the winner of the Wilder Fury fight doesn't get injured, then yeah, interim title in June or July, fight for the world title in December. What a year that would be." You know, I have no choice but to respect Dillian Whyte. You know, he came from the mud. You know, nothing was given to him. He was brought in. You know, he had an amateur little grudge with Joshua. He was brought in, expected to lose, gave Joshua a good fight, even though he did lose. He was knocked out. I think it was in the 7th round, but he's a no-nonsense kind of guy. He's pretty funny, you know, when he's doing his banter and trash talk, and I just respect him. He seems to be pretty honest, which is rare in this business. You know, you got a lot of guys who don't keep it real, and like, not to send shots, but sometimes in the UK, you have UK fighters who, you know, through blind patriotism, they're just going to side with the UK side, you know, just off of principle, you know, just because they don't want to be looked at as like unpatriotic or some shit. Dillian Whyte, you know, from everything I've seen in his interviews and stuff, he doesn't always take that road. He just told you right here, Jarrell Big Baby Miller has a shot to upset Joshua. You know, even though he's Joshua's rival, you could say the same thing with Jarrell Miller. It's not like he owes anything to Jarrell Big Baby Miller. They've gotten into it and talked shit back and forth on social media as well. So he doesn't really owe anything to anybody to not be himself and not be honest, and that's what I respect. Now, the funny thing is, once again, new media, he's saying this. He's saying that, oh, I wouldn't be surprised if Jarrell Miller does win. If you listen to my assessment and breakdown of the fight, sounds very eerily similar. I said, I want to see, we haven't seen Jarrell Miller in this position with this level, this caliber of opponent. Now, he didn't allude and say exactly what I said, but I told you after the Klitschko fight, it seems like we see a more reserved Joshua, similar to Broner after he lost to Maidana. Even though Joshua won versus Klitschko, he was dropped, put on his butt, and he seems to be maybe thinking more and more cautious, and that's kind of what you see Dillian Whyte saying? He says Joshua has gotten very gun shy. Miller can absorb, if he can absorb the early punishment, then he can bring it to him late in the fight. Then I wouldn't be surprised if he does beat him. And that's what I said. You guys gotta put in perspective the fight. Miller is 6'4", 6'4.5", and 317 pounds. And he's a voluminous puncher. He throws a lot of punches. So if he does actually have a beard, he has enough power to, if he can survive the early onslaught, he can make it really troublesome for Joshua. Because you also have to look at this, which Dillian Whyte didn't really mention here, but Joshua has showed stamina and fatigue issues. You know, as muscle bound as he is and as like vascular as he is, Joshua has showed those spots. He's been spotty in terms of endurance and stamina. You know, maybe it's due to his size, and maybe that's why he's been in recent fights slimming down a little bit. But you know, it's an interesting fight. You know, the biggest thing that I dislike with the fight is the games, and it doesn't really have anything to do with Jarrell Miller. It's really the Eddie Hearn side and AJ, how they went about it, talking about we don't want to fight in America, and now you're fighting in America. Saying 50 million, that's not good enough to lure us into America. We're the big stars in the UK. You know, I think Wilder should travel to me. And then you have a guy like Jarrell Miller who hasn't obtained or done what Wilder has done. You know, I think he would probably even admit that. And he's getting the shot, and you're coming to him, but you didn't want to come to Wilder. So, you know, it really doesn't have anything to do with Jarrell Miller. I told you guys I'm very fair, very consistent on my channel. It's an interesting enough fight based on the styles, based on the sheer size of Jarrell Big Baby Miller. He can really, you know, wreak havoc if he can take a punch, and if he doesn't let the moment get too big for him. Like if he comes with that Brownsville, Brooklyn grit, and he can, even if he gets hurt, he can, you know, stay cool, calm, and collected, make smart decisions. I'm really interested in the midway point of this fight to the late rounds, if that is the case. You know, if he gets ran over or bulldozed by Joshua and, you know, discouraged early and often, then this is going to be the Joshua fight. So interesting fight. Let me know what you guys think. But also interesting that Dillian Whyte is saying, yo, I wouldn't even be surprised. So it looks to me that, you know, I'm going to say the jury's out on Anthony Joshua. He's bragging about, like, I'm the A side and I make all the money and these guys overprice himself and I got the most of the belts. But in the division, people want to fight him, and I don't think it's just because of money. I think they really genuinely think they can beat him, because it sounds like Dillian Whyte feels he's improved and feels like Joshua has kind of gotten away from some things. He says he's gun shy now, you know. So I really attribute it to the Klitschko fight, because Klitschko gave him all he can handle, even though he won. You know, in those middle rounds, Klitschko showed durability. He put Joshua on his butt after he got knocked down himself. You know, after you look at the Klitschko fight, after Klitschko got knocked down, Klitschko was doing really well for himself, even in that round he got knocked down. You know, if it wasn't a knockdown, you would say, you know, the round was a Klitschko round. But by default, I would give Klitschko I would give Joshua the 10-8 round, just based on actually getting knocked down. But, you know, Klitschko held a good account of himself at age 41. So I think some of these other guys who are, you know, a bit fresher, maybe even younger, you know, Luis Ortiz hasn't really taken much punishment other than the Wilder fight, right? So these guys, and Dillian Whyte and Jarrell Miller, they all think they could beat him. You know, of course, Wilder and Fury. Let me know what you guys think. Dillian Whyte says he wouldn't even be shocked if AJ loses to Miller. Very interesting. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.